Call the meeting to order at 6:42. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Kelly, please call the roll. Kelly, please call the roll.
Mr. Oski.
Here.
Mr. Cora.
Present.
Mrs. Drury. Here. Ms. Heen. Here. Mr. Montani.
Here.
Mrs. Sexton. Here. Mrs. Trainer. Here. Mr. Oliver.
Here.
Dr. Mariano.
Okay, so public comments on agenda items. We would like to invite any resident or taxpayer of the Chartiers Valley School District who wishes to address the board to please sign in and state your name and address when you approach the board. We appreciate your interest. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes. Kelly, will anyone sign up to speak on current agenda items?
Yes. First is Tim.
After Midas. Last name is after Midas. Tim after Midas. Okay. Tim after Midas, 423 Kismet Street, Scott Township, PA. I can't even begin to tell you how disappointed I am that I'm standing here at this meeting under these current conditions. For us to attack the bus drivers is ridiculous.
Thank you.
These are not just bus drivers. These people are a part of our kids' daily lives. Our kids see them on a regular basis. They know them. They know the ins and outs. They know what stops they should get on and off of. We're going to replace them with strangers at a lower pay. How many of you members have kids in this school district? Anyone? Anyone care to put their hand up? One? Right? Okay. Two? So, two. There we go. So when a child doesn't make it to their stop, or there's an accident, or something goes wrong, and a third party is at fault for it, how are you going to feel? The number I heard was $1 million. What price did you put on a child's safety? What price? I don't understand it. If there is a contract that is weighing this school down, or the construction, or whatever it is that is weighing it down, I don't feel it's proper to attack the bus drivers for that. We should work within the confines of good faith to discuss just a common ground to keep our bus drivers. I spoke to several people outside, board members, who may or may not want to be identified, and that's fine. The minimum or maximum that should have happened was a freeze, a contract freeze for the next, whatever it is till we get, I think it was 2 years, for the next teacher's contract. If that's what's killing us, give them just a freeze. I don't want to lose my bus driver. I know the rest of these parents don't want to lose their bus driver. Nope. I apologize. I'm jumping around a little bit, but I see the clock there. My last counterpoint my last point I'd like to make is, what transpired with the football program is outrageous. If you wanted to make a change, you make a change. You don't insult somebody by saying, we're going to post your job, and you can apply for it again, and you know what? If we don't get anybody else that we like, you might be able to have your job back. That is so insulting.
Exactly.
It's unbelievable. And I don't always agree with all the coaches. I don't always agree with all the coaches, but I will stand up for those coaches. They give their time to our kids to try to make them better. What's going on here is wrong. We're making decisions based on money and not on what we should be, the betterment of our kids. Thank you very much.
Chris Lerno, 617 Superior Street, Grenada, PA 15106. And I am a 14-year employee of Chartiers Valley. I would like to speak about 2 agenda items. The first being the posting of all the football positions. Aside from the fact that the team is making improvements and have continued to improve their record, as well as more than doubling the number of middle schoolers in the program, Aaron Fitzpatrick and his staff are more than just a coaching football team. They are raising young men.
Yes.
The boys are held to a standard that is sorely lacking in other programs throughout our region. I work with Mr. Fitzpatrick and have seen him with his second grade students. They use vocabulary on a daily basis about responsibility and being leaders. They believe it, it's not just rhetoric. They truly believe in themselves, and it is because of Aaron Fitzpatrick. Replacing his staff would be devastating for our program and our district. While winning is great, taking pride in the program and raising responsible, respectable boys is way far more important.
Yes.
The second being on the agenda item is looking at outside busing contracts. I invite you all to call some of the districts that have been using busing and see how that's working out for them. I can tell you, it is not good. They have uncovered routes daily. Also, our bus drivers are part of this community, and they care about our kids. They know our kids, they know their families for years. They care about what goes on with them. They know them just as well as they know their own kids. I strongly encourage you to reconsider this agenda. Thank you.
Next is Craig Maslenka.
Craig Meslenka, 112 Bygate Circle, Scott Township. My son's an 8th grader, played on this year's middle school football MAC champions, undefeated season.
Yes.
And thanks to their Coach Galabria, Coach Glover, Coach Kyle, and Coach Snyder, who happen to be on that open position list, so I don't know how that's there. When I see a list of every coach on there, it's either they're cleaning house, or there's a hidden agenda that you guys aren't being transparent about.
Yeah.
You have a growing football culture. You have about 20 plus 8th grade students coming up that are hungry and want to keep that culture growing and make something of that high school team. You guys can't just go changing things. You need to be smart and make smart decisions for those kids coming up.
Yes, indeed.
The bus thing, you guys can't, if you subcontract, they're torn up when kids first start getting on the buses, they're scared. So they get familiar with a bus driver, they're used to it. You subcontract, they're gonna get a different driver every other day, every 3 days, and then those kids are gonna be even more worried to come to school. You need to make it comfortable so it's an all-around good culture. Thank you.
Hello. It is with much anxiety and heartache that I'm here to speak about the very real possibility of outsourcing our transportation department. I'm speaking tonight as a parent, a resident, an employee of Chartiers Valley Transportation Department. And I apologize, 1913 Elmbrook Lane. The students are why we are here. Without them, none of us would have a job. So why is there even a consideration to outsource one of the most important factors of our students' safety? These students should be our #1 priority. The safety and well-being of the students trumps neglect, mismanagement, and disregard for the budget that has been happening. Most of us employees, residents, and teachers of the district all share the same sentiment of wanting our own people to take care of our students. Any company you consider will eventually raise their rates. It's public knowledge of what hiring salaries are of new employees at CV, And if you think that won't change the amount of a potential bid, you're sadly mistaken. We provide transportation to about 30 different schools and situations. There are private schools, foster care, women's shelters, medical or temporary emergency situations, behavioral schools, schools for the blind, the deaf, and countless special needs schools. One thing that all of those students and parents need is trust. The amount of trust they need to feel with a driver and or bus aide is immeasurable. Most of us drivers take the same runs every year to stay with these students. The parents and students trust us. For example, knowing a student is nonverbal and can't communicate what they want or need is something we learn. We provide that comfort. We are trained for that. An outsourced company with a revolving door of employees on rotation is not the answer for these students. Just imagine what it would take for you to send your special needs child onto a van with people you do not know for sometimes a 30, 40-minute ride. Will they be left in the van while the driver decides to use a bathroom in a hotel on the other side of the city? Will they be in an accident because the driver you do not know is high on drugs? Will they be left at the wrong bus stop, scared and alone? Here at CV, we value the trust and safety and the innocence of our students. We really hope and pray you do as well. And lastly, as it does come last over the students, potentially making your own residents and taxpayers who work here at CV become unemployed because of the budget that was mishandled to begin with is a huge injustice to our very own community. We love our CV students. We're the first people they see in the morning and the last they see at the end of the school day. And I just want to say my daughter, who is 6, absolutely loves her bus driver. She's on her 2nd year with him, Mr. Will. He's the absolute best. Thank you and happy Thanksgiving.
Hello, my name is Heather Dempster. I live at 1084 Bank Street, Bridgeville. I'm a 5017. I don't have a ton to say. I'm coming as a parent. I've had 4 children go through, 3 graduate, and 1 is still in school. The story I'm going to tell you is very short, very sweet. When my older children were in the elementary schools, the intermediate school, I was sick with cancer, going through treatments. And my bus driver went above and beyond to make sure my children got on the bus when I couldn't. They would pull in front of my house in the morning and beep the horn, wait for me to come to the door, let me watch my child get on the bus, beep at the end of the day, wait for me to get to the door, watch my child get off the bus, because I wasn't strong enough to walk to the bus stop. You're not going to get that with outsource. These people are like family. They knew me. They knew what my children were going through. They made sure they were okay. They made sure their friends are okay. I don't think it's right what you're doing. I think you need to reconsider. Consider the families, consider the children, and what they need above what you think they need. That's all I really have to say. Thank you.
Good evening, Matt Dwyer, 4003 Coast Circle, Collier Township. When the school district no longer has direct control over the services it is responsible for delivering, the parents no longer have direct access to the provider of that service. As more services are privatized, public schools move from being open and accountable systems to being closed and secretive. Private companies cannot be held to the same standard of public scrutiny as school districts because they're not subject to the same requirements for open meetings, public information, and public input, even though this board has disregard for public input. Once a district has contracted out its school bus operations, It becomes quite costly to re-enter into the transportation business should privatization not live up to its promise. The loss of this leverage can lead to price gouging by contractors in future contract negotiations and a deterioration of service quality. I urge you to reconsider this decision regarding our bus drivers. My son is in first grade, takes the bus every day. He gets to school safe because of Mr. Mike on bus 59. Thank you, Mr. Mike. My last item is not about buses. 8.2 construction payment report. There's a payment for Americo Construction for $20,200. In the packet, it's the only invoice without a line item breakdown of the costs. There's also a line item for all extra new hardware and miscellaneous materials. It would be nice if the taxpayers knew what those items were before you vote to issue a payment on those tonight. Thank you.
Paul, 766 Mill Street, Bridgeville. Wow, what a beautiful sight. Democracy in action. Make sure this is not your first and last meeting. Come to all. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, respected board members. As you consider outsourcing transportation department at Chartiers Valley School District, we as taxpayer want to compliment on past things you have done, but when you sort of veer off in somewhat wrong directions, the public does show up to let you know that I will give you the right push. So in considering this thing and doing we would appreciate if you would just do your most basic due diligence in this process. For example, all of you visiting the bus garage, the CV bus garage, and then maybe speaking to at least one bus driver about their daily routine and what it entails, and if any of them have any grandchildren attending school, if any drivers have any children, nephew, nieces attending Chartiers Valley, or how long they've been working, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Also making time to, this is a little tricky, but if you could make time to listen to the radio dispatch between 4 and 4:30 between drivers and the base, when mostly primary school children are being dropped off, taken to their homes. That would be great. And if you could make time to learn the percentages of women who are bus drivers at the bus garage. And if you could take some time to learn the number of veterans who served in our armed forces who are bus drivers at the CV bus garage. And in doing your cost analysis, please remember you're not working for a private equity firm. You are working for a school district where return on investment, ROI, is measured by smiles on children's faces and thank you from parents, and not in try to nickel and dime here and there of the smallest budget, I think 8% of transportation. And lastly, forgive me for using this thing, in the business lingo of transportation system, these outsourcing companies are called, like I said, forgive me, they're called like drug dealers, where they'll give you first joint, first hit, first line for free, comparatively, giving you a first-year contract at a very low price, and then leaving you without, and then leaving you no alternative and using you as a cash house. You have no alternate to Thank you, and be careful for what you wish for. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rich Popolowski. I have 2 kids in CV. I live at 609 Elm Street. My son, my daughter. I rode a CV school bus to Seton LaSalle back in 1988, 89. It's a different time now. Back then, Guns N' Roses was #1. There were no Walkmans or iPod players. But my CV bus driver, he installed a stereo system on the bus. His name was Dennis. We got to listen to the DVE morning show on the way to school. When you're on a CV bus going to Seton LaSalle, you're going through the whole district, so it was quite a nice ride. One of the best things I remembered was the ride to school. Dennis, or Denny, kind of looked like a Harley Davidson bus driver with a ZZ Top beard, earrings, chains like Mr. T would have, all back in 1988. It was a great time. We flash forward to today's time, my kids in school. 2021, pandemic's going on. You're lucky to have drivers willing to be on a bus with a whole bunch of sick kids wearing masks, are essential workers. There was food shortages at this time. Kids couldn't get certain things. I know a bus driver who put a whole network together to make sure a kid, a special needs kid, could have his little treats that he needed every day because he wouldn't eat anything else. I know a bus driver who knew a girl who wanted to play softball and was at one of the hotels because she was homeless. She couldn't afford cleats. They brought her cleats. I believe a couple years ago, one of your own drivers, our own drivers, disarmed somebody with a knife on a bus. Now, I may be wrong on that, but I've heard about that. So it seems like you've got a lot of really good people here that care about their kids. Flash forward to last Friday and the Monday before. We had a threat against this school. Multiple threats. We don't get calls until midnight, but you know what the bus drivers got around 8 o'clock? Our first line of defense. They get emails to be on the lookout for a particular individual threatening this school. So who's going to email who when there's 5 separate subcontractors and you guys can't get your crap together? Thank you.
Mr. Fitzpatrick has to be one of the most best human beings I've ever met. I sub up at the schools as a para, and I've talked to students that he coaches, and I think it's about the kids. And if the kids have this relationship with the coach, they should be able to maintain that relationship with the coach, and he's holding these kids accountable. He's developing more wholesome human beings, and I think that's something that we need to keep in mind. It shouldn't just be about winning. It shouldn't be about, I want my buddy to come do this, I want this or that. We should keep people that know the kids, that are teachers, that are already doing a really good job in the positions that they're in. And it just really feels like things that aren't important, that aren't about the kids, that are about somebody else's agenda and such. And Mr. Calabria, the kids he coaches, they love him. All of them describe him as very I'm really happy because he scares me a little bit, but the kids love him. my daughter's teacher. He's just, and we need more color. I'm just, I mean, two black teachers in the whole district. Like, come on. We need color, all right. And the bus, my son, this was 2019, and how much time did I got? We were at the bus stop one morning, he fell back into the street and broke his arm. And I just tell you how much it did my heart good to be able to pick up the phone and call a person and have things adjusted for my son, because the last thing you want to worry about when you send your kids off is, are they going to be safe? Is my school district backing me? Are people where they need to be? And I didn't even realize this was going on with the bus drivers, but the bus drivers are very important. We don't need to have random people getting our kids, because it just makes me nervous to think like different people could be picking our kids up every day, like all the other people commented on. And that's all I really gotta say. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jeanette Gogol. I live at 1278 Grouse Drive in Scott, and I'd like to speak today to item 8.7 about transportation. So a story from my life. A few years ago, I was in between jobs, and I went to a temp agency, and then I was hired to work at another temp agency, billing for the temps that got sent out. And a funny thing happened. About 2 weeks into being there, they wanted to bring me on full-time. Now, why would a temp agency want to hire someone on full-time? Oh my goodness. Well, first off, the other agency that they were paying was costing them more than it would cost to bring me on directly. So that's something I wanted to speak to in this field today. Both our bus drivers and our physical buses have a lot of value to them. Subcontracting companies exist because there's value to be had and money to be earned, profit to be made in outsourcing these things. If we're paying mileage regularly on buses or a certain fee for their buses, then we're never at a point where we are now, where we own the buses, we own the assets, and we can hold on to them and eventually save money. And once, as others have said, once that genie is out of the bottle, there's no putting it back. The other thing is that they saw value in what I brought to the company, the partnerships that I made, the skills that I learned in the time that I was there. And they saw that they were valuable and wanted to hold on to those. Likewise with our bus drivers. Our bus drivers know our communities, they live in our communities, and they've developed relationships with families over a period of years. So when we look at a situation like maybe a non-custodial parent is waiting at a bus stop for an elementary student, a CV bus driver is going to know that something's wrong. If we're driving kids home in a snowstorm, they're going to know where the icy patches are, where roads are bad in some of our really windy hills, and they're going to be able to navigate those roads more safely than maybe someone who isn't as familiar with our community would. Thank you so much for your consideration.
Murphy, 157 Orchard Springs, Scott. So the first agenda item I want to talk about is 7.12, the HR report. I was wondering what steps the school board plans to implement in order to retain our administrative staff. our district has lost all but 2 principals within all of our buildings, as well as the majority of our administrative staff. It is very upsetting at the rate of turnover we have been seeing within this district, again, in just the year 2024, which is when all of these members have been part of this board. My next item is 7/17, the school board dates. In January, I believe, because of the conflict we have with the board meetings against being overlapped and conflicting with our municipality board committee meetings, I know it was mentioned that when we come to this time this year, that you would consider those their meeting dates. And I'm not seeing anything from Scott, I didn't see anything from Collier Bridgeville, so I was just curious if our board has reached out to them to try to keep that conflict to a minimum so that our community members can attend both their municipality as well as the school board meetings. 8.0, I am curious with payments to CHC each month at the amount of $6,000 per month. What is that additional $2,000? Because on this July 23 approval for CHC to oversee facilities was in the amount of $4,000 a month. I didn't see anything else for approval that increased, and it seems like it's been a very consistent additional $2,000 per month. So I was just curious what that went against, since we don't see an invoice. And I do believe one of the reasons with going with a third-party contract in lieu of finding a long-term solution by hiring a new director was because CHC would be less expensive. But if we keep paying them more and more money each month, then it's a moot point, and your point on that is no longer. For 8.6, I also don't understand why our board is planning on spending a possible $20,000 of money it does not have to complete a curriculum assessment when we already have a staff member whose job it is to oversee, and a previous assessment was already scheduled earlier in the year. Where will the money come from to implement any recommended changes from this assessment? Has the board considered what steps it would need to take after the assessment? What type of financial commitment to implement any changes that might be brought up by this assessment? I just want to know if our board is looking in the future, or if they're just trying to hire, I don't know, maybe a friend and give them some money. I don't understand why this board is so desperate to outsource our drivers. There are many reasons why I don't believe it's a good idea. When you outsource work, laborers, admins, drivers, you do not get the level of commitment you would for your own workforce. Things can go wrong within your own workforce. You have the resources and means to implement solutions and the corrective measures without a substantial financial loss.
Sorry, could you call that individual louder? Fran Hernandez.
Go, girl, get 'em.
I'm Fran Hernandez, 35 Sunnyside Avenue, Carnegie, PA 15106. My son had Coach Fitz in 2nd grade, and he changed my child's entire trajectory when it came to school. Not because he got him on track just academically, but because he gave my child a level of confidence in himself that he didn't have before. He does this with the young men on his team and in his classroom as well. I learned quickly that Aaron Fitzpatrick is one of the best guys I know, and he has surrounded himself with men as great as him with a goal to foster sportsmanship and a love of football our school is lacking. He has created a family in the football community. When Aaron Fitzpatrick got the coaching job, the entire community was elated. One of our own got the job, and it couldn't have gone to a better guy. He has also bridged the gap many schools have between youth football and high school football with the support of the middle school coaches as well. They are all working together at each age level to build a strong program and foster the love of football in these kids. These coaches want nothing more than to see our young men grow into strong, independent young men who have a family in football. They want to inspire these boys to keep playing football, develop and stay together from youth football all the way to the high school. They want to see our program flourish and give our kids something to look forward to. In addition to Coach Fitzpatrick, coaches like Garrett Herring, Josh Kirby, Jamie Calabria, and Devin Powell, to name a few, are the guys making a difference in these young boys and young men's lives. They don't deserve to have their jobs be in limbo when they have earned the right to change our boys' lives. I'm not sure what you think you're going to find out there, but why would any good coaches want to come here knowing you as the board can pull their jobs out from under them at any time? This goes for all the sports and not just football. My son is in 5th grade on his second year of football, and he looks forward to playing for Coach Fitzpatrick and the rest of the coaches in middle school and in the high school someday. On the other agenda item, the transportation department, the bus drivers. The transportation department as a whole, including the bus drivers, has been nothing short of amazing in the years I've been a parent. Anytime my child missed getting off the bus or left something on the bus, they always came back around to make it easier on me as a mom. And I've always been thankful for that, because driving all the way over to the intermediate school from Collier Township is not easy. My kids create relationships with these drivers and feel safe when they are driven by them. My kids get rattled when they have a substitute driver. Can you imagine how rattled and anxious they'll be if there's a different bus driver every day? When I see my kids get off the bus and they're fist bumping and high-fiving their bus driver and the bus driver is waving at me, that makes me trust them, and that makes me know that my kids are safe because these men and women care about my kids. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Michelle Rakowski. I have been a resident of Bridgeville for 32 years. 2 kids attended Chartiers Valley. One has graduated and one still attends. My full name and address are provided on your sign-in sheet. It should not be a requirement to be announced to speak in this public setting as you have it on record. I've witnessed the Chartiers Valley School Board perform multiple acts in which the Board of Elected Officials should not do. You need to be more forthcoming, transparent, and show these students and parents the proper way a school board should perform their civic duties. I would like to address Article 8.7. We, the parents of Chartiers Valley, are not in favor of your proposal.
Yes!
Noting the 2 individuals who signed this are either no longer with or are leaving the Chartiers Valley School Board. Chartiers Valley attempted this before and failed. Had missing kids, intoxicated drivers, and no-shows. If there's an incident on the bus, will we have film footage? Will there be film footage? Our bus drivers now drive them well at the PS, again at the MS. Field trips, move-up day, later on football games, basketball games, softball games, and parades. That is priceless. When they attempted this before, within a year of selling all the buses, they had to buy new and hire new drivers. Will you learn from this mistake and listen to us parents of Chartiers Valley and keep our bus drivers? One attempt at a contract and you go out for bids. Work with our current bus drivers to keep them where they belong, here at Chartiers Valley, serving, protecting, and supporting our children. Thank you.
Mike Williams, 50 Coldcrest Street, Collier Township. Came here originally just for one reason, and it became 2. But the first and foremost is the safety of our children getting to school every day with bus drivers that actually care for our children. Not people that are just a non-familiar face that they don't see every day. We happen to have a bus driver, his name's Mr. Mike. My son absolutely adores and loves Mr. Mike.
got a Christmas present for Mr. Mike this year. Above and beyond a lot of our family members, just because that's just someone that he trusts, he cares for, he sees every day. He sees every day, multiple times a day. When he's not there, he wants to know why. He's a bus driver. Why wasn't Mr. Mike there today? I don't know, but he cares. And that's because Mr. Mike has made him feel that way. And I can assure you that every parent here, their children feel the same way about their bus drivers because there is a familiarity that they have. There's a bond. There's a trust.
Keep the drivers!
There's just something that, and it's not as much for us parents, and it is. It means a lot to me because I feel comfortable with my son being with Mr. Mike. Mr. Mike could take him somewhere and I'd be okay with it, and I don't know him no more than being my bus driver. But my son does. My 10-year-old son feels comfortable with that man every day of his life, twice a day, 5 days a week. And it's just something he trusts, he likes, he loves. And I just ask, please, just take into consideration the way that, not necessarily the way that are speaking here today, but the way our children feel about those people that take them to and from school every day, that they adore and they trust and they feel safe with. We have another second. On the second thing is, when my son was he was in Mr. Fitzpatrick's class, and he says every single year that if he could have him every single year for a teacher, he would be very successful. He's 10 years old and he loves that man. And I can only guarantee how his kids feel as his players and everything now. And I thank you for your time.
My name is Susan Andrione. I've been a lifelong resident of Bridgeville. I graduated from this school. And I also remember when Jeff Corr was a year behind me in high school. So I'm not going to tell you my age. But, and I do agree with the lady that spoke, I'm not going to give you my address, it's on that piece of paper. I have had the pleasure of working for Charvel as a bus driver for going on 8 years. I started as a bus aide, and I worked my way up, and I drive a CDL. I drive a smaller van. And let me tell you, it's so disheartening to think that you would want to turn your children or turn these children over to strangers.
Yep, exactly.
I get on my bus every morning, and when those kids get on that bus, it's like I'm their parent, and they're in my care until the time they get off that bus to go to school, or the time they get on to get off and they go to their home.
Yep.
Yep.
Those are my kids. And how dare you question them?
Exactly.
How dare you? We work to set a bond with our kids. I have a bond with every one of my students that ride my bus. And let me tell you what happened a couple of years ago. I had a run that goes past Ellie's in Carnegie. The school guard, I was going to drop off in the afternoon. The parents were not there. Now, these were primary school students. The parents weren't standing there, but the school guard said, oh, the parents are in the restaurant or in the bar. I'll take them and you can go. I said, oh, no, you don't. And she and I had a verbal discussion. There was no way that I was going to let those two kids off that bus to go with that school guard, and I don't care how many clearances she had. I made her go into that bar and get those parents and come to my bus stop and get to my bus. No way. I had another situation, Propel Elementary School, several years back. I went to pick up my primary care student. She's not coming out, she's not coming out. I asked the teachers, where's so-and-so? Well, we don't know.
Thank you very much.
What do you mean we don't know? No, you're gonna hear me. I don't care how long you know, it was in my gut that that child, something was wrong. I went to the bottom of the hill to the get-go. And I called the office. And I told the people in the office, there's something not right. That child should be there. The mother did not tell me that she was not picking her up.
Yeah, we want to hear. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, let's let her talk.
Let her talk. Let her talk.
That child,
Each resident receives.
that child was still in the same way. That child still paid school.
If you could call the next.
Nobody picked that child up. Had I not made the effort
She can have my time.
to
I was
call
on the news.
the garage and report that something was not right, that child would have stayed there, and God help me. Two words I want you to all remember. Cherry Mayhem.
Thank you, ma'am.
Stop interrupting me.
Haley Poplowski, 609 Elm Street. Good evening, everyone. I'm speaking on behalf of subcontracting our buses. As you heard, my name is Haley. I'm a 10th grade student. As a student, I think subcontracting the buses is to be straight up stupid. You're taking away the jobs and people we have known and loved for years. As a student who rides the bus every day, I would not feel comfortable being driven by a random person from a subcontracted company. Doing this is taking away the safety and security of your students. You're more worried about saving money than the students you're supposed to care for. As quoted directly from the district website, Chartiers Valley District, a community dedicated to shared leadership, mission is to graduate students to achieve personal success by providing an exceptional academic foundation in a safe, nurturing environment that inspires creativity and innovation while embracing diversity. Doing this, you are quite literally going against your mission and taking away the safety of your students. You're putting young children at risk of getting lost or not even getting picked up at all. I love my bus drivers, Miss Holly, Mrs. Beth, Mr. Mike, and every other individual that has driven me in my years here. Chartiers Valley wouldn't be half of what we are without them. So in the long run, is this going to benefit the school and the students? Simple answer, no. Thank you.
Good evening, Olivia Farelli, 3005 Amalfi Drive, Collier Township. I just wanted to make a quick note. My husband wanted to be here tonight. His name's Mark Farelli. He had surgery today, so he was unable to make it, but he did send over an email. So like most parents, my husband and I both work full-time, and we rely on the bus to safely get our son to and from school. Every day, my son Enzo rides the school bus, and I can tell you that one of the people he trusts the most is his driver, Mr. Mike. And I love all of the love that he's getting. He deserves it just like every driver here deserves it. Mr. Mike does more than drive a bus. He greets my son with a your thumbs up every single morning. He knows the kids by name and makes them feel safe. As a parent, that trust is everything. It gives me peace of mind knowing my child is cared for by someone who sees this as more than just a job. The proposal to contract out our transportation services threatens to break that trust. If we go down this road, we'll be replacing experienced, dedicated drivers with new drivers who have no ties to our community. These drivers will be strangers, people who may not stay long enough to learn the routes, much less the names of our kids. Would you feel comfortable putting your own children on a bus driven by someone they don't know? Someone who might be gone in a few months and replaced by yet another stranger? Our current drivers are part of this community. They care about our children because they know us. Contracted drivers, on the other hand, often come and go, working for companies that prioritize profits over safety and connection. This isn't just about safety, though, it's about fairness. Many of our current drivers have dedicated years to this district. They've shown up every day through storms, snow, and challenges, all because they care. And what message are we sending if we tell them that their loyalty and service don't matter? Instead of outsourcing, let's focus on supporting the drivers we already have. They're the ones who've earned our trust and proven their dedication to this district. I urge you to think about the real impact of this decision. It's not just about saving money. It's about our kids' safety and their relationships with the people who care for them. Please, let's do what's right for our kids, for our drivers, and for our community. Keep our transportation local, stable, and rooted in trust. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jennifer DeClaudio. Thank you for your attention. I would just like to ask you guys, what happened to loyalty? What happened to keeping our schools and our kids safe? We just had a credible threat. How many days, week ago that wasn't transmitted, it wasn't even given to us properly. And now you want to take our bus drivers away? These people have been with us since day one. They show up every day for our kids. They bring our kids home safe. And that is what we want. We don't want people in and out nonstop, which is what is going on in CV right now. These people have been loyal. What happened to loyalty? They have been working without a contract, and they are still working. Why are you guys turning your backs on them? Keep our kids safe. Keep our drivers in the district. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lonnie Lamb, 620 Preston Street in Collier Township. Born, raised, and graduated Chartiers Valley. I respectfully request your undivided attention for these few minutes. I have previously asked that all of you do an in-depth, thorough evaluation into what's being considered with regards to eliminating the Transportation Division of Chartiers Valley, and I hope you all have done so. I come to you with a significant background in safety, security, and union contractual negotiations. I hold national certifications as a school resource police officer, certified both state and federally in commercial vehicle law, inspection, and roadside enforcement, and I can clearly see the value of our in-house transportation division. Please don't allow yourselves individually or collectively as a governing board to be forced into a tunnel vision type kaleidoscope of looking at just budgetary implications. Just as important to your decision are hiring practices, standards, company safety ratings, driver proficiency, PA reportable and non-reportable crash data, community and roadway familiarization, and simple day-to-day operations, all of which CV Transportation excels at currently and would not be matched by any subcontracting company. I believe you all to set aside the friendships and personal or professional agendas to recognize the professional drivers and staff here now that have been vetted and allow our transportation division to operate as a respected and valued division of Chartiers Valley. As in all professions, there is always room for improvement. Don't let that overshadow the extraordinary professional personnel of this community-based transportation division that a subcontracted for-hire agency simply cannot and will not provide, hiring the next individual as a number who walks through the door. In closing, you have not heard one comment in support of even considering outsourcing. I urge and empower you all to do your proper due diligence, which I know will lead you to make the best decision for the students and constituents of this district, which is to negotiate in good faith and settle a fair contract with the members of the ESP to keep the wheels of the Chartiers Valley school buses going round and round for years to come. Thank you.
Good evening, Bethany Ward, 82 Clearview Drive, Scott. I'm a parent and a staff member at the primary school. I want to begin by thanking outgoing Assistant Superintendent Dr. Julie Franczyk and HR Director Chelsea D'Amico for everything that they have done for our district. I am grieved that the culture of leadership in Chartiers Valley is one that drives away excellent and dedicated leaders instead of valuing what they bring to our district. I'm also speaking in support of our educational support staff. They work hard to make CV a safe, supportive place for our students. Many of them are local residents with vested interest in the success of our district. They know our children. They watch out for the ones who don't speak English, are afraid to get on the bus, and they make sure that they get home safely. I invite any of you to come to the primary school for one day during the bus dismissal to see how many issues come up and are immediately solved through partnership with our bus drivers to get our students home safely. These are vital members of our school team. Losing them will cost you and us much more than you could ever hope to save by outsourcing. Lastly, I'm also here to support Coach Aaron Fitzpatrick and the other members of our football program. As a staff member at the primary school, I see the way that Coach Fitzpatrick works year-round to lead his team to serve our school community. The football team is often present in our building, helping to build up our youngest learners, while they themselves learn to be good citizens. I urge you to please stop making decisions that are slowly stripping away the culture of community, trust, and pride in Chartiers Valley.
My name is Sandra Calloway. I am born and raised in Collier Township.
never be enough time to express my frustration and anger with a majority of the school board. We see those of you who are truly trying to make a change in differences and voting the correct way. The amount of fires that we are currently dealing with tonight and on a consistent basis is absolutely unbelievable. Between losing important administrative staff like Mrs. Franzik, you truly lost a gem with her. Our lack of security and safety at the high school and middle school is unbelievable. And why? Why is the football staff even on the thought process right now? As a youth cheer coach, I have seen year after year the building of this program. And you've literally given them no time to continue to build this program. And it's unbelievable. But most importantly, I need you to know that outsourcing our support staff through our bus drivers is just unbelievably, and I would highly encourage you to vote no. Now and moving forward. You may not have a true connection to one of the drivers, but our family does. Between Miss Janice on bus 64, I don't know if she's here or not, Miss Jamie on 79, my kids have always been well cared for and loved when they step on that bus each morning. In fact, you should pay them double. We will never get that type of care and love for our children with an outsourced staff. Are you really willing to risk the safety of our kids? Will we be the next school on the news for a child left behind or dropped off in a random neighborhood? It happens all the time, and most of the time it is an outsourced company. They know that these bus drivers are members of our community. They truly care about our kids. They know the safety of our kids could mean their name is on the line. They take pride in getting them to and from school safely. An outsourced driver will care less. I have already pulled my middle schooler from CV. Please do not give me more reasons to do it for my other two.
Justin Blake, 543 Madison Avenue, Carnegie, PA 15106. Good evening, members of the school board, administrators, and community members. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight on behalf of our head football coach, his coaching staff, and the middle school coaching staff. Every single name on your agenda this evening. I stand here not only as someone who values athletics, but as someone who believes in the profound impact a dedicated coach can have on young lives. Let me begin by acknowledging that coaching is not just about wins and losses. It's about molding character, teaching discipline, and inspiring young people to strive for excellence both on and off the field. Coach Fitz and his staff have done exactly that for our students. Under their leadership, this football program has provided opportunities for students to grow as individuals, develop teamwork skills, and learn the value of perseverance. More importantly, coach and his staff has consistently prioritized the well-being of our students, ensuring that they leave the program not just as better athletes, but as better people. Instead of severing ties, let's offer the program more support. Let's identify areas for improvement and provide Coach Fitz and his staff the resources needed to succeed. Let's recognize the deep connection they have built with our students and our community, and let's honor the positive difference being made every single day.
closing, I urge this board to consider not just the outcomes on the scoreboard, but the outcomes in the lives of young people and the young men Coach Fitch and his staff care for every day. Let's invest in stability, character, and the long-term health of our program by keeping this group in place. Thank you.
Nate Backner, McMichael Road. Let's all clear our minds for a minute and not think about contracts or deficits or anything like that. But think to yourself, what's important to you? Service, a child's safety, a child's life. Everything I'm going to tell you, I'm speaking from firsthand experience. I've been a mechanic for 20 years working on school buses. I worked at CV for 10 years, and I have a very good rapport with the state police. And they're considered one of the safest school districts. And all I hear is horror stories about subcontractors. I mean, talk about stepping over a dollar to pick up a dime. That's the bottom line. They're there for the bottom line. I mean, they squeeze every dime they can out of a bus. Talking serious violations, out of service. There's spot checks on buses. They fail them constantly. I know when I worked there, I don't remember failing any. And then there's service. I have a niece and nephew, Pine Richland. Very nice neighborhood. They're all in parochial schools. Well, 50% of them are in parochial schools in this neighborhood. If you're on the bus for an hour, the school's 5 minutes away. I mean, you think that's acceptable? Because they're packing the kids on a bus, because they're trying to get that bottom line. I mean, it's all about profit. Think about it. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to announce that we had an executive session prior to this public meeting to discuss personnel, legal, and safety matters. Dr. Dean Perry, any recommendations tonight? Hearing none. Superintendent's report, we have Student Representative Layla Ashbury here.
Hello, everyone, and good evening. You may notice that Brady is not here with me tonight, so you're stuck with me. Quite frankly, it was another busy month. On September the 3rd, 12 high school chorus students traveled to Peters Township High School to participate in the PMEA Acapella Festival. There, the students met Deke Shepard, the music arranger for the film Pitch Perfect. On Monday the 5th, Mr. Harhigh's 2 AP Government and Politics classes hosted a mock election in the HS Commons, where students from all 4 grades were able to vote for the president. On the 8th, members of No Place for Hate, BSU, and GSA attended the Uncommon Conference. The groups worked with other high schools to explore cultures and religions. Last Wednesday, 3 members of Quiz Bowl, City Trainer, Brady Bart, and yours truly filmed an episode for Katie Quiz. The episode will air on December 14th at 11 a.m. Finally, last Thursday, Student Council had a popcorn bar to raise money for the Caring Place. They ended up donating $405. Dr. Sable and the Student Council have worked together to create a holiday spirit month for December. There will be a district-wide dresser culture day on the 16th. I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you, Layla. Solicitor's report.
Okay, I wanted to address the school closures that we had recently because of the threats.
Your microphone's off or something's wrong.
Okay. Can you hear me in the back? Okay. residents. Our highest priority remains providing a secure environment where students can learn and thrive without fear. We are aware of the concerns raised by the recent threats. However, the school district is unable to provide specific details about the threats or disclose the identity of the individual involved. This is in accordance with privacy laws and policies that protect minors, as well as to maintain the integrity of ongoing investigations. We understand the anxiety this situation has caused within the community. To address these concerns, we want to reassure everyone that swift and coordinated actions are being taken and safety is our #1 priority. Thank you.
Get rid of more bus drivers.
Informational agenda. South Hills area school district, Sexton? Nothing, no report. Okay, Pathfinder. Over the last month of Pathfinder, their basketball teams played Mon Valley and Sunrise. They had a bocce match against Sunrise School District. They had Halloween parade and the Pride students, which is the older children in the program. They put a trick-or-treat on for the younger students throughout the school. They had a family Halloween dance, and there was also a family harvest hoedown and a turkey decorating contest throughout the school. That's it from my report. Allegheny Intermediate Unit, Mrs. Trainer.
Thank you. I had the privilege of attending the AIU retreat from November 14th to 15th, where we reviewed goals and the ongoing progress of the initiatives of the AIU. The board has also adopted a resolution urging Allegheny County Council to approve the 2025 budget to maintain AIU-operated family support centers and other AIU programs funded by the County Department of Human Services. We are a vital partner in this, and we hope that they will continue to work toward that budget. We also had a report on the AIU Employee Appreciation Week. Each employee in the AIU received a nice little bag, and there was a week of activities that was centered around appreciating everyone who works at the AIU. The last update was that election of new officers for the AIU will be by mail ballot, and that will come to board members of all participating districts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Trainer. Parkway West, Mr. Cora.
Oh, thank you. Welcome. We had actually a short meeting last week. Just have a few items. We approved the Act 93 agreement, and the board reappointed Angela Peterson, president again for another year from Upper St. Clair, and Joe Apple, vice president from Carlington. And one last item, we had the CV had the student of the month, Sophia Drosky. From what they tell me at Parkway, she's an absolutely outstanding student, and after graduation, she's going to pursue med school. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cora. Consent agenda. Motion to approve items 7.2 through 7.17.
Mr. Vice President.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion, please. And this will speak a little bit to the consent agenda. I made several requests, once yesterday morning and again yesterday afternoon, that the consent agenda, which is a bunch of items piled into one vote, be separated and voted on individually. I requested it both times, and both of these times I was ignored. That's fine. But, and this will speak to what one of the ladies who spoke said. Why, with all of this stuff going on in this school district, all of this stuff, why the football team is a topic of discussion is absolutely beyond. I make a motion to amend the Human Resources Report, items 7.12 to remove section 3 titled Athletic Coaching Separations in its entirety. Can I have a second, please?
Come on!
Y'all get votes in?
Seriously? Really?
Second it!
Yeah, let's get Woodland
Got it,
Hills
right there.
here. We got Woodland Hills here.
Speaking your butt.
Second it.
She did, she did.
You people work for us!
No sidebar.
Voice of the voiceless.
We can't hear you.
Demonstrating that we want to.
Stop shutting down. You should be able to hear what they're talking about.
No sidebars.
Hello?
Let us hear ya.
Yeah, you wanted to turn our mics off. Open it,
Please hold order, please.
Yeah, we're talking silent. Yeah, your 3 minutes is up, B.
Made a motion, she seconded.
He's standing up for us.
Can we hold for 1 minute, please? So there's a motion by Mr. Montani, second by Mrs. Trainer, to remove the portion of the human resources, to remove the football coaches. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye. Can I have a roll call, please? Can I have a roll call?
Roll call vote, please.
Please, please.
Kelly, please call the roll. Please call the roll.
Mr. Brusky?
No.
Mr. Chora?
No.
Mrs. Jory? Okay, go back. We can't hear.
Can't hear.
Jory?
We can't hear a thing.
Ms. Heen?
No.
Mr. Montani?
Yes.
Mrs. Sexton?
Yes.
Mrs. Trainer?
Yes.
Mr. Oliver?
No.
Oh.
Motion fails. Motion to
Why don't
approve
you
item
start
17.
passing notes back and forth and
Please
bring Woodland
maintain
Hills?
order, because we cannot hear the deliberations, and I know that you cannot hear them either when you're yelling. So
And we
please
can't hear
maintain order.
Please, please, folks, okay, we're all just trying to hear each other, and for your sake, to be able to hear how people voted, hear what's being voted on, please, just quiet down for a little bit, and you can hear.
But they're not
Thank you.
listening. They're not listening to us.
Can I ask for clarification? Mr. Montani did ask for the consent agenda items to be separated, twice by email, and I thought that was the process that we were supposed to do. And to support him, that was ignored, no response was made back. So is it possible to separate the consent agenda?
There was a motion to do that, and the board has voted that down.
I thought the motion was just to pull one particular one out.
But that's what I believe was the subject, was to pull that out, and the board has voted no.
No, the email was to separate all.
My motion
Yes.
was to.
But I'm going back to,
Yes, his
Right.
motion was to pull one thing.
to a clarification that I thought that was the process when board members wanted to vote on consent agenda items separately. We were to request that, and that request was ignored. So could I get clarification on that?
The motion on the table was to pull the item, the motion was denied.
Not the email.
That's what she's talking about.
It needs to be a public meeting, and your mic needs to
Talk into the mic, we can't hear you.
Can't hear you. We can't hear you.
But that wasn't the motion.
That's not what
It
she's
was
asking.
consent agenda item. It just, if I get a clarification, I'll have to go about doing that, since the request was ignored. All right. So therefore,
have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
No. We have a roll call vote, please. Please call the roll.
Mr. Grosky?
No.
Mr. Cora?
No.
Voted out.
Mrs. Story? Yes. Ms. Heen?
No.
Mr. Montieri?
Yes.
Mrs. Sexton?
Yes.
Mrs. Trainer?
Yes.
Mr. Oliver?
No.
That's so sad.
Can I just ask a question, please? I don't understand why, first of all, he went through the process of asking, and we have to bring it up here in order for it to be addressed. If the email would have been responded to, this already could have been handled.
In the public forum and addressed in the public forum. At this point, I think we should move on to consent.
We're the
Why can't we separate? When other board members have asked for it to be separated, it was just voted no.
Yeah, but why?
You're bringing in his
Motion to approve items 7.2 through 7.17 consent.
It's not being addressed privately or publicly, is what you're saying.
They're hiding stuff.
If I can have the audience, please.
Motion by Mrs. Heen.
Write down.
And then what are you hiding? How much money are you guys getting for denying it? Don't make no sense.
The motion was.
The motion is to approve items 7.2 through 7.17. We need a second to adopt.
Is there a second to approve the items by consent? Second.
Second by Mrs. Cora. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Opposed.
Roll call.
Mr. Grosky?
Yes.
Mr. Chora?
Yes.
Mrs. Story? Yes. Ms. Heen?
Yes.
Mr. Montieri?
What are we voting? For the sake of not wanting to, no, I can handle myself, thank you. Please, folks, for the sake of not wanting to vote against these field trips and stuff that are in here, yes, I'm voting for the consent agenda. Yes.
Mrs. Sexton?
I agree. I mean, I don't want to vote against other things, so unfortunately I have to vote yes.
It's amazing.
Mrs. Trainer?
As stated, because the students' events are wrapped into this, unenforced event, vote yes.
Do you need somebody to come up and help you guys organize your protocol?
Mr. Oliver?
Yes. Motion passes. Item 8.1, motion to approve the affiliation agreement with Slippery Rock University for the interim school nurse to complete her practicum.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Montani, second by Mrs. Heen. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Budget and Finance, motion to approve construction increases for November 2024.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Heen.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cora. All those in favor?
Since we didn't get to have a discussion on this because we didn't have our previous board meeting, can we address the question that was asked earlier this evening about 8.2 and the construction payments and the clarification? Maybe Beth, you could address those, I'm not sure.
Sure. Finance Director.
did want to follow up with the public request to look at 8.2 and the invoices that are involved in here. Specifically, the payments to AmeriQuote. So the AmeriQuote invoices for $20,200 are included in the payment, and that includes the installation, finishing the installation of the fence and the replacement and addition to parts of the fence and the track at the high school. The detailed invoice is included in the packet. All right, thank you very much.
Okay. So, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item 8.3, motion to approve October 2024 payments for the 2024-2025 budget, including charter schools in the amount of $7,411,215.94. May I have a motion, please?
So made.
Motion by Mrs. Heen. Second. Second by Mrs. Drury. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Item 8.4, approval of the IDA Section 619 pass-through funds, use of funds agreement 2024 for year 2024-2025.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Montani, second. Second by Mrs. Heen. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Item 8.5, the Act 1 resolution for the 2025-2026 school year. Motion to approve Act 1 resolution for the 2025-2026 school year, which certifies that the Chartiers School District will not raise taxes for the 2024-2025 school year at a rate that exceeds the school district Act 1 index of 4%, as calculated by the Pennsylvania Department of Education.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Heen. Second by Mrs. Drury. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it, the motion passes. Item 8.6, motion to approve the proposal for Jason McKenna Consulting for a comprehensive review of the analysis of the district's existing STEM and computer science curriculum for the amount of $20,000, which will include a public presentation on the implementation of K-12. I have a motion.
So made.
Motion by Mrs. Heen, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Montani, all those in favor?
Again, we didn't have discussion on this because we didn't have that first meeting. And first of all, I'm completely in agreement that we need to enhance and work our STEM and computer science curriculum to benefit all students in the district. But I would be remiss as a school board member if I didn't ask the question, how are we going to pay for this $20,000 that is not existing in our budget, and that we have a plan to do that before moving forward? I was not aware of this contract prior to the
I received the recommendation because this is the one item on the agenda that I recommended for the board. I had the opportunity to review the work of this gentleman. I advise everyone in this audience to seek out Jason McKenna's report and read about, well, you can make an educated statement based upon, I'm going to ask everybody, everyone listen. The public all have a chance to speak. Everyone listen. Please allow me a chance to speak. All I'm saying is part of his presentation is a public review of his work that he did in the community. He'll be back in front of you to show you what this board approved and paid for. I believe at that time you will understand the importance of what he did, but I need you to allow that to happen. After that presentation, if you think it was a waste of money, you certainly can voice that. making the public funds useful, but you have to allow that to happen. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Hold on. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate you clarifying that, because I think that was something that was of a concern, and I think it's good that we communicate that and be clear. So thank you very much for that.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? All those opposed? Ayes have it. Item 8.7, motion to authorize the Chartiers Valley School District Administration to prepare and issue a request for proposal for student transportation services and further to direct the administration to solicit all acts necessary to effectuate the RFP process. Motion by Mrs. Heen. Second by Mr. Brodsky. All those in favor? Sorry.
No, I was.
Okay.
Yeah. So, oh, sorry, thank you.
Pay attention here. All right, thank you. Can everybody hear? So, I've been in government a lot of my life, and it is important for everybody in the audience to definitely redress their grievances to the government, us. So we appreciate you being here. We do hear what you say. Believe me, we talk about it, and believe me, it is on the top of our mind, all of that. We also, in addition to that, have a large fiduciary responsibility to the 6,000 residents in the school district to look at the whole thing, and that's what we're doing. We're looking at the whole thing. This vote tonight does not mean that we are approving anything. We are not. We are just looking. Why? And in addition to that, and I'm sure that negotiations happen every 4 years. That is the process that things go through, whether you're a bus driver, teacher, everything. Yes, on both sides. We have the responsibility to try to keep it in some kind of normal budgetary constraints, right? And any person that is employed currently would have the ability, if it were approved, because we're not even anywhere near there, we're not even anywhere close to that, would have the ability to apply for a job if in fact it would go that way, so that every school district goes through this process. Let's maintain order. Please maintain order.
You already apologized for this.
You keep playing with his leg under the table.
He's the only guy up there that, he's sick.
If everyone would maintain order, so that we can hear what is being said.
We don't want to hear that shit. Vote.
I'm asking them to maintain order so we can hear what you're saying and what the vote is.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? No. Okay, roll call. Roll call.
Mr. Rossi?
Yes.
Mr. Cora?
Yes.
Mrs. Drury? Yes. Ms. Heen?
Yes.
Mr. Montiani? No. Mrs. Sexton?
Tim Ephtimitis, 423 Kismet Street, Carnegie, PA, 15106. I'm not afraid to give my address. I live in Scott Township. First off, I'd like to welcome the new superintendent. Sorry it's under such hostile terms. But you have to understand what's going on. What just transpired here was ridiculous. The solicitor, who stays on her phone, and then she laughs and cackles and carries on, then decides she's going to interject to walk over and change votes.
Thank you.
This is why we are upset. This is the backdoor dealings that go on. This is what we're hoping, sir, that you will straighten out and get us back on track. I apologize, I don't know your name, as I wasn't aware that you were being given the job to the last meeting, so I do apologize. I'm just merely stating what everybody else is feeling.
Yep.
There's a lot of backdoor dealings. You talked about accountability when you wanted votes. Accountability. The things that are going on behind closed doors need to stop. You are affecting people's lives. I voted for some of you. I get it. Tough decisions have to be made, but you need to do it in the confines that everybody can understand. Don't just tell us that we're in a deficit. Explain why. Because contracts were granted that we didn't have the money for, we weren't physically responsible. But now we're attacking people who handle our children on a day-to-day basis. I don't get it. That to me would be the last thing that I would touch. The last thing. You need to get the trust of us. You're supposed to be the voice of the voiceless. We can't sit there, but we can elect you. And we are supposed to trust you. When you get up in the middle of a meeting to walk over to convince somebody to change his vote is ridiculous. And whether you did it or not, I can tell you, appearance is everything. It certainly looked like it just happened. I have tremendous respect for a lot of you that are standing your grounds. Decisions are made, and we get that. Some things that we like, some people we like, some people we don't like. Tough decisions need to be made. But when the majority of people are imploring you not to do this, then I suggest we find another way. Make it happen. There has to be another way. We spend, I don't know how many dollars on that stadium, it's ridiculous. And we're paying people for work that's not a finished product. My sons have played in that field. I implored them last year. Don't play a game on that field. That's how bad I thought the turf was. And I've got boys with injuries to substantiate that. Get our house in order. We beg you. And if you don't, you won't be there, because we'll vote you out. Start treating us like our votes matter. Don't be on your phone, flipping your hair, laughing and cackling as you look away from me as I'm speaking. You don't want to listen to the people who are justifying their concerns. This is not only my... Sorry. You're affecting the friends of this community. And we're not going to deal with it. Some of these bus drivers have families that go to this school. You're affecting, and you know what? You know what? I'll gladly go after I say what I'm going to say. I've been preaching all night to stick to the rules, but when you did what you did, you took Robert's Rules of War and you threw them out the window. We want to be clued in on what's going on. That's it. Understand that we are the voiceless. We're pleading with you to side what we want. Like I said, you're really good at interrupting when you don't like the way the conversation goes. I wish you paid that much attention throughout the evening, ma'am, because you should be removed from your spot. You are a dereliction of duty as solicitor. You should not have your job.
Matt Dwyer. Thank you.
Good evening, Matt Dwyer, 4003 Coast Circle, Collier Township. There we go. Matt Dwyer, 4003 Coast Circle, Collier Township. On 10/23, I filed an open records request with the school district. I have not received acknowledgement, request for delay, or denial of that request. I believe that is directed towards the solicitor. Please follow up. Also to the solicitor, just because it came up during this meeting, in 2001, there was a federal court ruling stating that at a school board meeting, you do not have to publicly state your address, and that the board is out of compliance by requiring that. Ms. Hall, your law firm put out a newsletter to all their clients in the fall of 2001, advising them to change their policies to do that, but yet you have not recommended that to this board. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Juliana Betts. I'm a senior. Hi, Miss Trainer. Hi, Miss Sexton. I have class with your daughter, so you guys have great kids. I was here to talk about the PLTW program and the biomedical fields and everything like that.
Can you talk into the microphone? 'Cause
Yes, is this better?
Really difficult time here.
No, I got it. Either way, it's fine. I'll just yell. I've attended this school since kindergarten, and I can't say I've enjoyed every moment of it, especially right now because it's embarrassing, honestly, that you said that our money and our budgets go into our curriculum, but we noticed that we do not have any biochemistry or organic chemistry classes. We have all the basic level. Do you think basic level is going to get you a doctorate or a PhD? No, it's not. So when you're trying to cancel out the one program that sets us apart from other schools, or at least gives us an equal playing field to other schools, how are we supposed to even compete with that? Our average GPA at Chartiers Valley is 3.6, and I can guarantee that that is completely carried by students like the kids in the PLTW programs. You already cut out the engineering program because you didn't deem it appropriate for how much it was costing, apparently, via Mr. Sherman, which obviously is not that great. And I also have to say that the bus driver Bob always comes into my work, and he's a really great guy. Even when we're super busy on a Friday night, he's always a good smile, and he's always really kind to all of us. And to the coaches of the football team, I've had the privilege of being with them all personally, so there's that as well. But I really wish that you guys, because what I noticed right now is Megan Sexton and Ms. Trainer are the pretty much only ones paying genuine attention, so I appreciate you for that. And I don't want to be abrasive or anything, because I know you guys are trying your best and there's a lot to address here, but there's only a lot to address here because there's a lot of issues. So I, as a student, have to be one of the people that deal with it every day. I hear the parents complaining, I hear you guys complaining, but we're the ones that have to actually suffer with whatever you guys decide. So you need to start outreaching to us more, because we have opinions, which is crazy as kids to think that we have opinions. But my family and I have never been the type of people to complain about this kind of thing, but I really can't deal with the BS anymore, so excuse my French, Dad. But I'm an athlete, and I would have given up any amount of money or any amount of field fanciness or equipment if I could have a better education and a better curriculum at my advantage. So that's all I have to say.
I'd like to make a brief comment to the student at the high school that all of her remarks were understood and appreciated this evening. But the reason I want to comment on what she said was Dr. Castagna hasn't even started yet, and I do appreciate the folks who extended a welcome. On that business of the program he's trying to bring in, it addresses many of the issues that we see that need to be added to the curriculum, and added to the curriculum in a way through technology and what I would call advanced technology. So I think that Dr. Castagna has already shown
subjects that you did, and know that they will be addressed.
Ashley Murphy?
Ashley Murphy, 157 Orange Spring, Scott. So I'm curious, so if we were able to afford to pay a new superintendent who was hired in a very objectionable way, no offense, $50,000 more than our last superintendent, in addition to that very expensive maintenance equipment we see running around between our primary and our high school, middle school campuses, or the consultants that you just approved this evening. Why can we not afford at least one security guard who would replace the two that were hired last year at the middle school and high school? Why do we not have the gate down for people to have to be able to be checked in to get on that middle school, high school campus? That is where the issue is stemming from. That is where the student goes. That is who the student is threatening. Why do we just pay? Every time this happens, we just hope that that perpetrator is dumb enough to leave a note or a social media post about how he's going to hurt someone that would make us proactive? Are we just gonna hope that for any future instances? Why are we spending all this money when our kids are currently not safe? Again, we had two people retire last year who manned that gate, and they're three people, my apologies, and none of them have been replaced. It was acceptable and needed these prior years because of our campus or school size. Those buildings have so many doors people can come in and out of, the different entry points. But yet, I don't see anything on here, I don't see the report where we're trying to find someone to replace that and have, again, long-term solutions. And another thing that I just want to mention, someone reminded me, and I want to remind you all, is that you as board members are all equal members on this board. There is not one person who has more authority than the other. So for that crap that happened last month, where an agenda was put out without additional information, and our board members found out the same time the rest of the community, that is just a level of unprofessionalism I didn't even think our current board would do. And we do know there is school board training that is out there for you to take, to learn what is required of you in this position, and to better off, and to learn and to understand what would be best for our community. And Solicitor, remember that you work for Chartiers Valley School District. Letting the deceptiveness, the unethical practices, the lack of transparency completely transpire shows that either you don't care or maybe you're bought for it. Hi. I would just like to ask the board, how are your seats? No, I'm being serious. How is having a seat up there? Does it feel comfortable? Can you explain to me why my first grader is sitting on a bucket? Because there aren't enough seats in the class for every kid. So they are sitting on buckets. Why? Not only that, the STEM teacher didn't have enough supplies for her classroom, which seems to be a problem school-wide, that these teachers do not have the adequate supplies. They do not have the adequate supplies to teach our kids. Our teachers are getting fed up. When they don't have the supplies, they are not going to teach the lessons, which ultimately impacts my child's future, along with all of these other people's children's futures. Why do we have kids sitting on buckets? This is Chartiers Valley. Why buckets? Why is this even going on? And then we have the safety issue going on. There is nobody up in the booth at the high school checking people in. Not that it would matter or not, because all they do in the booth is make sure that you stop at the stop sign. Why aren't they checking IDs before you go in? Why are you saying there's added security up there when there isn't? I was up there the other day picking up my kids after rumors were going around that this kid got off again, and I walked right in the high school behind a parent after she buzzed in. This was the second time I went in, and I walked in right behind her to prove the point of how easy it is to get into that school. Our schools are not safe. There's no safety being provided to any of our children, and my mind is blown that we're talking about replacing our bus drivers when we can't even keep our schools safe. What are we doing? You guys like your seats, right? How about you donate them to the STEM room at the primary school? Kindergarten, first grade, second grade, sitting on buckets. Yeah, did you even know that?
Did you know that?
Come on. Anybody?
No, we did not.
You didn't know that. So where is the communication between what is going on in the schools to you guys? Where is the breakdown in communication? Do any of you guys even talk to the principals of the school? Yeah, I see it blinking, but nobody's going to give me an answer on why my child is sitting on a bucket. It is your responsibility as the board to provide that for our children.
So let me comment on that. There were
Please
two
do.
things tonight that really struck a nerve with me. Okay, number one, security guard missing from the booth. That is important. I know you need eyes. So these are the kind of things that you can bring to the board's attention. We have to do. The fact that the board does not know about child seeing, there's nobody that's going to say that's right. And so that will absolutely be addressed by tomorrow morning. I will promise you, if I had a wheel this chair down there, I'm sure.
Then wheel it, because my kid has school tomorrow, and they need a seat.
I can promise you that, okay? So these types of things, with safety and security, and something like seating in the classroom.
Seating, supplies, it doesn't stop there. What about these teachers that need supplies to teach our kids?
All those things can be directed to Dr. Imperial, okay? If you complain as a parent, I will have you meet Mr. Eagle as of January 6th. You can express that, and you will get an answer, I promise you. So that you don't know me yet, I don't know you all yet, I hope you get a chance to meet you. I'll love to talk to you individually and hear from you, okay?
So nobody can explain why my child is sitting on a bucket?
The answer to that is, it will be addressed immediately.
I understand, sir, you're new, but the rest of the board, can somebody tell me why nobody knew that these children were sitting on buckets? Please, where is the communication?
Can I answer that?
Somebody,
When I first got elected to the board, we wanted to have keys go into the school.
excuse me, sir. You as a board member, your policies state that you are not allowed to enter any schools. Outside of the board meeting, you are nobody to the school. You can't enter any schools. mandating. It is broken. Did you also know that there was no nurse up at the primary school as well? My daughter had a double ear infection. Nobody at the front office wanted to call me and let me know. They put it on a teacher that has 24 students to take time to call me, and I didn't recognize the number because her school phone was broke. Imagine that. And my daughter had to ride the bus home in kindergarten with a double ear infection because there was no nurse on duty. And it happened multiple times. I tried to drop off cough drops up there, and I couldn't even get a cough drop to my daughter because there was no nurse. It is state mandated a nurse be provided to every single student.
All right,
This is not okay.
if you would like to, Dr. D'Imperio is going to look into all of these matters that you suggested, and please also reach out to him, and we will address your
Who
concerns.
am I reaching out to again?
My grandson.
If we could call the next individual.
I'm sure you'd like to.
I'm so embarrassed that I made my grandson.
I just have one more thing. I want to show you guys a picture of the exit sign at the primary school. Yes, you can be disgusted at this. Hold on.
We will absolutely address all the concerns. Can
Do you
you
see
please
this?
call the next individual?
Do you see this? You want to talk about safety? This is the exit sign at the primary school.
Kelly,
hanging
can you
by the
call the
wire.
next resident?
Do you see this?
Mike W.
Yep, you know what?
This is unacceptable.
I'm
It's
gonna
a
grant
code
my 3
violation.
minutes to continue speaking.
This is a code violation. It's a hazard.
Kelly, can you please call the next individual? Okay. We must maintain order.
And you must listen to us. Just because you don't like who we are not.
3 minutes.
And he just said I could have his
Your
time.
concerns are building level concerns. It's best to have these addressed specifically at the principal level. If they aren't fixed at the principal
They
level.
weren't. You weren't there, sir. I actually spoke to 3 school board members about these very set issues. I will gladly have a meeting with you when you're in there. I will gladly sit down and have a meeting with you because this is unacceptable.
Absolutely. I would exchange contact information as soon as this meeting is over. But if the first point of contact is always the quickest way to resolution. The principal in the building.
Sir, I contacted the principal about the nurse, and she laughed about the situation, and when the assistant superintendent, I contacted her, she said that was her defense mechanism. So if a child goes to the principal, has a problem, and her defense mechanism is to laugh, that's not gonna impact a child?
I understand that's totally. You're not wrong. Allow me a chance.
I don't need you to tell me if I'm right or wrong.
I'm just extending you an invitation to talk and allow me a chance to run these, please. Just allow me that chance. If it doesn't get resolved, there's a board meeting a week from tonight where you can bring it up again. Just allow me the opportunity to talk, please.
Okay, I already said I would give you the opportunity.
I appreciate it.
Did you see the picture?
Yes,
Are you okay with that standard?
absolutely.
And you realize that's not the only safety concern that we have going on there. At the primary school, the speakers were not working for the Alice drill in the cafeteria and in both gyms. And they have not been working for years. Whose responsibility is it to check and make sure when you guys are paying all these bills for construction that the work is actually done and done properly? How many code violations? Honestly,
I appreciate it.
I'm sure you do.
And we will fix the issue. Allow me the opportunity.
Sir, you have 45 seconds left on your time. Would you like to come up and speak and wrap this up?
Nope,
You good? Come on up. You got 30 seconds.
If you're not
All you
signed
did is
up,
my name is gone. I moved my grandson
Is she
to
signed
this
up?
school district,
How many
and I'm
additional
so
individuals?
upset and
Okay,
embarrassed. I don't care if